inshallah. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشتد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين بسم الله. Last week, welcome everyone. So last week we studied this verse from section An'am and 160. And it says, whoever has done a good deed will be rewarded tenfold. But whoever has done an evil deed will be repaid only with its equivalent. That will not be treated unjustly. So we dealt almost many aspects of it. Inshallah, we are done with it. So here we are going to study another interesting verse, which are, I'm selecting the ayat verses from the Quran, which are directly related to our life right now, and also some controversial subjects that misunderstood about Islam. So I am hoping that it may help us to understand the situation, the reality, what Islam presents to us or teaches to us in the best way. So specifically, I have chosen them, although every verse is definitely related to our life, but nowadays some sort of misunderstandings need to be cleared off. So I'm emphasizing on it. I ask questions just to attract the attention, not really to check your knowledge or of course, if you want to join us, join with your answer, I would definitely love it. But don't feel that you are being tested or examined because I'm asking the questions. Now, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وإن أحد من المشركين استجارك فأجره حتى يسمع كلام الله أبلغه مأمنه ذلك بأنهم قوم لا يعلمون. So beautiful. So let's go step by step slowly. If any of those idolaters, we call it mushrik, those people who associate something else next to God with God, or as we understand in our discussions here, we use this one, gives the quality of God, deity, to anything which is created or needs to be created. That is the best way of shirk. It means really what idolater means, or the pagan religion, in fact. If one of them asks for your protection, what are you going to do? You keep them and kill them. Huh? They are mushrik. So God says, protect him. Now, protect? how dare you protect a pagan, a mushrik? So we have to get rid of them. Who's asking this then? I think I'm just arguing in such a way that I think God has a mistake or something. That is what it is known. Islam is a religion of fight. And there are other verses in the Quran strange that you have to kill wherever you find the disbelievers, unbelievers. What is it talking about? If you don't trust my translation, because it doesn't seem to be correct in according to the atmosphere that the Muslims have, protect him so that he will be able to hear the words of God. What? Are we going to keep them in our house and feed them and give them the opportunity to entertain a mushrik in my house? What do you think, Anne? Impossible, man. Unimaginable. So then, even more, it's impossible to imagine a civilization like this. An enemy comes and asks for protection. And you give them protection, plus entertain them with your presence. Don't give them protection in your basement or in the attic, with you, so that they will hear the word of God. And what is more, then escort him to a place. I'm going to give him a lift, take him wherever he wants to feel safe. What a good service. I think Islam is a wrong religion. Seems to be from this verse. Why? You are protecting your enemy. That's not enough. Taking care of his needs. That's not enough. And if he doesn't agree with you and doesn't want to stay and embrace Islam, kill him then. No. Help him to go where he feels secure. Who does this? What do they do? If you don't obey for example, America is really exceptionally free country, respects human rights, etc. But if someone is exported, no. Exported, it is? Reported. Do they ask them, okay, let me give you a good accommodation and then take you, pay your ticket? Where do you want to go? Okay, I want to go to Japan. All right, I'll take him. Are you feel comfortable now? Do you feel comfortable here? Okay. What do they do? Export? Throw you away from the port, and that's it. Take care of yourself. Wherever you came from, go there. This is the kindest civilization of this age. I don't think in other country, I don't know how do they do it, but definitely they don't ask you, where would you like to go? So I will accompany you. So this is really beyond imagination, this civilization. That's why I love this kind of verses from the Quran, in order to really make our minds clear what Islam really is, or what are all the other verses which talk about fighting conditions, and what is this doing? And mind you, this is very interesting. These verses were in Tawbah, section Tawbah. Tawbah is very famous as to be the severest section of the Quran. Very famous. And also, it doesn't start. The only section in the Quran, surah in the Quran, which doesn't start with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Why? There is no mercy. Seems to be. But this is the verse almost in the beginning. This is the fundamental of the understanding of what Islamic civilization looks like. So that what will follow about the war, hard war battlefield, the rules, hard war battlefield, should not be confused with the fundamental principles of the Quran. This is the beginning. So almost verse 6, Tawbah is a long section. This is the sixth verse. So why should we be so kind, exceptionally kind, that none of the civilizations now has arrived at that point in 21st century, let alone in 6th, 7th century. This is 7th century desert Bedouin life, if you like. Look at it. It's interesting. Why should we do this? Because there are people who don't know. Now, of course, those people who oppose physically and fight physically, we will study about these verses as well. Well, it is a bit further. Now, maybe we may not cover this week. Most probably not. So, did you get the spirit of this verse? So, someone may hear me here, because these kind of verses are not really repeated or well known. Shall I ask you, for example, Anne, have you ever heard this verse? But how many years you have been a Muslim?
12.
12 years, you haven't heard this verse. Have you ever heard words about jihad, killing?
Yeah.
How many times? Yes, but how many times did you hear from Muslims? Yeah.
All the time.
All the time. Yeah, no, I think we have to sit down and think about it, what is going on. I feel that because of this inferiority complex, I'm very afraid of inferiority complex. Inferiority complex, defeated complex. What they do, they want to show heroes. For example, the Prophet Muhammad was commander-in-chief, the best commander-in-chief, not the Prophet. As if a messenger who brings this message to human beings. Do you get it? Isn't that the general atmosphere? Yeah. Unfortunately, he is a merciful, sent as a mercy to human beings. So what does it mean? So as far as I know, all of you, but have you heard this verse before? You heard from people?
Not taught, no.
No. So you are, born in a Muslim family. You are, I think, more than 30, eh?
No.
No? 20, 25. 25, I'm sorry, 25. Yeah, I'm sorry. 25?
29.
Yeah, 25, more than 25. 25 years. 25 years. You have been in a Muslim community from the childhood. Your parents, I know your mother, is a very good, conscious Muslim, and you haven't heard of it. What is going on in this world? Muslim world. I don't understand what's going on. Why this verse is not every Friday declared, announced? Why? Why is not? inferiority complex. Hero, this hero child, this typical video example, a cat looks into it. So I really love the figure there. He looks into a mirror and sees himself as a lion. Or lioness. Why? Inferiority complex. Defeatedness, the defeated complex. So I want to show it more than what I am. That's why we are powerful. If you see the companions in the picture of the Muslim general culture, companions are not those people who are students of the Quran. Why? Who are they? Companions fighting, fighting so bravely. You remember fighting so bravely, companions, they are thirsty, bloodthirsty people. Seems to be, that's what the Muslims present, not others. That is very, very interesting. Okay, what we have to do now, we have to understand that, yes, there are other verses who are asking for physical fighting, but none of them offensive, defensive. And we will see more verses, inshallah, related to this subject. So no one will ever believe that this is in the Quran. I'm sorry, even in the Muslims, even if somebody has memorized the Quran by heart, they read it, they don't know what they are reading. Usually there are exceptions, but I don't really understand why our Muslim public speakers emphasize on this side of the matter only war conditions. Where is physical war? In New York. What am I going to do here? Speak to my reality. Here next door, my neighbor on the right, non-Muslim. On the left, non-Muslim. So I am living with them. Here in the street, in the subway, I am next to each other, sitting next to each other. In the train and the bus, in the bus and in the train, and they are my neighbors. How am I going to treat with them? Like I take something. So if I find, do some, what is expected of me nowadays within these conditions? But if someone attacks you, there is no humankind in the world that you shouldn't defend yourself. Now, and we will see in the Quran, the verse will say, وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا فِي الْقَتْلِ. Translate it. If I translate it, people wouldn't believe me. Translate it, وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا فِي الْقَتْلِ. Qatl.
Don't be excessive in killing.
Don't be
excessive in killing.
Excessive in killing. What does it mean? Don't look for an opportunity to kill for more. The Quran says, no. Only as much as it is necessary. What does it mean? Look at the world, in 21st century world. Who is doing this? I should try to harm my enemy as little as possible. Atomic bomb. Yeah? Nuclear bombs. Biological bombs. What are they doing? Killing with one finger, pressing on the button, 1,000, not 1,000 atomic bomb kills really million people if they are in the same area. Now, how many million people live in New York City? City-owned. 6, 7. One atomic bomb in Manhattan, 6 million is died. One more. وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا فِي الْقَتْلِ. Don't exceed in killing. Only to defend yourself as much as it is needed and be firm. Yeah, of course, you are not expected to let the others to kill yourself. Okay, you can kill me. Entertain yourself. Congratulations. No, you cannot do that. We are giving the sense of defense. But what we are doing, we are confusing this with the normal life, standard life. Anyways, I am a little bit disappointed with what's going on in the wisdom world. That's why I feel not very comfortable what's going on about it. So our friend on Zoom said, it also has put me off how most Sira books are mostly the records of Ghazawat, fightings and or wars, Ghazawat, not telling us how Prophet lived and practiced what he preached. And also, for example, if you read the Sira book or about the Medina, most of the Sira books, not all, but most, about the Medina period of the Prophet ﷺ, you don't see any sign of prophethood, messengership, and the distributing. What does he do? From one war to another, from one war to another, and send groups of people to the neighboring tribes for Ghazwa, our friends Ghazawat, the plural of Ghazwa, the word Ghazwa. It means small, how to say, team to go and hit and come back. Now, what's going on? So I can share many things, but I'm very, anyways, I shouldn't be emotional here. The Prophet ﷺ used to send a group of people to neighboring tribes to deliver the message to them. Yeah, deliver the message. Why? How many people go on on this small, how do you call it? There may be a special word for it. Not a big war, but just a small. Not guerrilla is, I'm sorry, but inside guerrilla attacking and inside doing something, guerrilla, small attacks in this right, correct, local attacks. But they go 25 people. How many people are there in the tribes? Approximately minimum 400, 500, minimum. The smallest tribe, or 1,000, around there. Can you imagine a prophet, a man, a person, sending 25 people to a place where 1,000 people, it's minimum 500 people, to fight with them? Can you imagine? This person must be crazy. As if they are he's sending these 25 people to commit suicide. Yeah. So once the prophet sent, I confused the number now, 40, I think, people to a tribe, because they came and asked, I can bring this hadith narration, asked the prophet, send some people to teach them Islam. And Prophet ﷺ, as usual, sent 40 people from Ashab al-Sufa, specially trained companions, educated companions, to this place. But this tribe leader wanted to trick him. So before arriving the tribe where the tribe location is, he killed, I think, 37 of them, Three of them were able, but two of them were caught on the way. One of them was able to save his life and went to Medina and told them everybody is killed except me. And same Sirah book says this is not Ghazwa. This is just the innocent people who went there to teach the people. How about the others? They are the same because they are killed now and trapped. It became now making dawah. Now, when they were successful, delivering the message and gaining the hearts and minds of the tribe, it is gospel. Otherwise, 40 people, 50 people won over 500 people. No, we have to be honest. Syria, Ghazwa, there are problems. So we have to be honest. Skirmishes, yeah, Muawiyah says. Thank you, Muawiyah, helping me to understand. So, my first question, do these kinds of verses relate to our time now as well? Only for that time, the mushrik will come. And in our heart, no, it is the Quran speaks to us. You know that we keep telling this. The Quran speaks to me right now. And I have to listen to it as my Creator is speaking to me. Right. So, of course, the answer is yes. For example, give me an example. Can you give us an example how I can apply this verse to me now practically? Anyone? How can I apply it? Practice it. An answer? No. Please.
That's the case. I find myself someone who does not share the same belief system or might not identify as Muslim. But if we engage in a conversation where they're asking questions, then I can kind of share my truth with them to the extent that I'm able to, in the way that it satisfies me. Therefore, escort him to a place where he is safe. Therefore, try to answer the question or share what I know to be true as best.
And also, would you like to invite him at dinner or something, him or her? Will you take this person if he accepts into your house? Will you host him? Nowadays, it is very hard, isn't it? Look, this Quran really goes beyond. So let's just take him home. So he has to hear the word of God. We will come to this. But we will bear in mind the last piece of the verse, because they are people who don't know. Now, who knows Islam? In New York, even the non-Muslims don't know Islam. So who knows what really the Quran is teaching? Really, no, it is everybody, because they don't know. They need to know. Without letting them learn what Islam is, we cannot really say anything to anyone about anything to anyone. They don't know. We have to be very watchful when we call some people an unbeliever. But they say, what I know, he says he's not a Muslim. He even doesn't believe in Christianity. What shall I say? Okay. Do you believe in Christianity? For example, practically speaking, no. Okay. but he doesn't believe Islam. Why? Does he know Christianity? What Christianity really is? Not many people. And how about Islam? It's a big problem. Even the Muslims are not very much aware of it. So there is a problem here. So because they don't know, you have to be very, very friendly. Which doesn't mean that, which means that somebody nowadays you see occasionally, they want to argue deliberately, not to learn, not because they don't know that they need to learn. No, no, no. You know, this is, there is a certain group of Christians, not all of them, some very small group, and they train some young people in order to become familiar with Muslim culture, and so that they will become missionaries. They are going to send them to Muslims, innocent Muslims in Indonesia, for example. This is the case. Is there anyone who is from Indonesia or South? You look like. So they go to the villages, and then missionaries go there, and they build them hospitals and schools and convert them to Christianity, innocent people. So we hear about it in Indonesia lately. You don't know.
I live in the village, but usually like something like that, maybe in the city.
Somewhere else, yeah. But I heard that they do the train, even they go, I don't know. I know, for example, they train some missionaries and do some sort of activities in the Muslim worlds there. So they are argumentative. They come with an agenda. These are different. So these are not the people who don't know, so that they need to learn. So we have to be careful. Innocent people, if they are interested in Islam, to learn in Islam, we have to open our heart, our house, our opportunities, share with them. That's what this verse is saying. So what does hearing the words of God mean? Now, hearing the words of God, I will recite the Qur'an like this. وَإِنْ أَحَدٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ اسْتَجَارَ. Okay. They heard it. Does it mean this? What does it mean then? What could it mean? Word of God. It's very interesting, yes?
I would say not the literal words, but the worldview, the way of thinking that comes with it.
Yeah. Message.
The message, yeah. And
Yeah.
the example, because your behavior is part of the message.
Yeah. So that's a good point. That's what I was going there. Your behavior, your kindness will speak, because your behavior, your kindness, you gain from what? Message of the Quran. So they will hear, they will experience how a Muslim can be in this living conditions. So word of God means not your personal understanding or something, but exactly as God teaches you, and you learn from the Quran and the prophetic examples, and present this behavior to them. So don't make it your personal matter. So as a Muslim, and also I have another concern, that we are mostly inclined to hide our Muslim identity. So we should really speak with our identity as well, through our behavior, through our speech, and show that. Don't be ashamed of being identified as a Muslim. Don't be. So be a Muslim and behave Islamically, inshallah. So another subject, there's something there, all right. Now, Ziba, how do we deal with them? As the Quran says, like exactly. Now, I can narrate the hadith narrations. So that's very interesting. The Medina setting is very interesting. Now this well-known Masjid Nabawi, the pictures are very famous. Medina, Kaaba in Mecca represents that famous masjid. Originally was just four walls. That's it, and simple. So covered by palm leaves. Yeah. Maviya, thank you very much. I think she is referring to the debaters. How do we deal with them? We can come to this point as well. Then, thank you, Maviya. I didn't know that she wrote it, Ziba wrote it, while the subject was with these missionary trainers. So it is an interesting, and there is a very interesting example in the life of the Prophet about concerning this matter. So we will come to that. If I forget, remind me somebody. Yeah, remind. That's an interesting subject. So there was a tribe leader. This tribe was a rich tribe, and the leader was the richest man there. Now, so he was doing lots of activities against Medina administration, Muslims, so that he was really trying all the ways to harm Muslims, physically working for it, to encourage other tribes, get together, all together, let's fight Medina, or organizing on it. And companions of the Prophet caught him, brought him to Medina. Now, Masjid Nabawi was masjid where the prayer room, yeah, administration center, hotel. All the tribes, leaders, people used to come to Medina to learn what Islam is all about, and they were really hosted there. Restaurant. So the Fatima and Ali, Imam Ali used to take care of their food. That's what Fatima said. My hands are cut making bread every day for lots of visitors are coming in Medina. That's why he asked for a helper. So the Prophet says, no, the last one you will get helper is my family. I'm sorry. But she was taking care of all this restaurant business. So that is the living conditions of that time. We shouldn't forget it is not easy. So what else? Treating them so well. The Prophet used to say, when the food was prepared for Ahl Sufa, those students, if you like, those people who devoted their life to learning the Quran and also narrating to each other what they heard from the Prophet. It was a kind of school in the masjid again. Everything is there. Nothing is secret. And this enemy of Islam brought to Medina, and Prophet hosted him in the masjid. Wow. Can you imagine the enemy is hosted in White House? Huh? Can you imagine that? Crazy. All the secrets are talked about, discussed there. Town hall. These people have nothing secret, transparent society. So the prophet used to say, no, this is a rich man. He cannot eat what you eat, give the best food to him. Enemy. Impossible to believe. After certain days, the prophet used to come. How are you? Asking him, what do you think? And he says, oh, how do you think of us? He said, you will treat me as I deserve to be treated, because enemy. It means I believe you are going to kill me. The prophet used to come another day again. How do you think of us now? We used the same thing. And then after, I don't know, I don't remember exactly the hadith text, but I got the impression something like 5-6 days later, and prophet said, leave this man go. Let this man go. And they let him go on his way. Let him. Exactly as this verse says. On the way, this man was going and turning back. Going and turning back. Why? When he was expecting, when they are going to shoot him with an arrow from behind. And he went and went, nothing happened. Am I really free? No one is coming after me? He went back. Aren't you not going to kill me? What? Go, man, wherever you want to go, because we want to present to you who we are, whether you are satisfied with it or not. And choice is yours. Go. And then he converted to Islam. Look at the picture that the prophet treats. Yeah? Treats his enemy when there is peace point, because there is no active war. Now, it is not in the battlefield. So they are not really, he is not trying to kill them. He is just in the masjid. Yeah, he was caught, yes, but he was given the opportunity to hear the word of God. Practice there. 5 times daily, the people are praying there. What a wonderful, you can make a film out of it. Wonderful. Now come to this interesting question. How do we deal with these argumentative people? Now, of course, Islam, towards the end of the Prophet's life, became very widespread. So the Persians were aware of it. Roman emperors empire was aware of it, and Ethiopians, Habeshistan were aware of it, and Yemen side on the south were aware of it. So a learned Christian scholar, a group of them, if you're ambassadors, not as an ambassador, but Christian scholars who came to Medina and argue with the Prophet, والسلام, what they think of. But this is our friend asks, how are we going to deal with them? So, Prophet said, look, what we understand Christianity and what we understand what exactly the nature of Jesus is. As it is beautifully described in the section, Maryam, 19th surah section of the Qur'an. And they argued back, and no fighting, no aggressiveness, nothing. And they said, the Prophet said, what do you think of really what the Qur'an, the message Islam presents to you to deal with Maria and Mary and Jesus. So Christianity means Jesus. So around Jesus, everything is around. Everything depends on how Jesus is interpreted, is his nature, his personality. So, and then they said, no, this is not true. What you are saying is not true. We are right, you are wrong. The prophet says, okay. And they said, oh, okay, we want to go. While they were there in the Masjid al-Nabawi here is Masjid, isn't it? Now, they asked for permission to do their own worship, practice Christian worship. What did the prophet do?
He lets them do it.
Let them do it
He gives them
in the masjid. This is Muslims' place. How dare a Christian group can come and do Christian sermon here or ceremony or prayer? Can they? No, nowadays. Why?
because the people in the masjid will stop them. They won't do what the prophet did.
Sorry?
They'll make up their own rules and stop them, but the prophet didn't stop them. So
Huh.
today they won't do what the prophet did.
No, because they are more religious than the prophet. No, I think it is. We are more religious than the prophet. I think so. But, the prophet didn't understand Islam as we did now. Real Islam. Genuine Islam. Did you get the answers, Iba? So what are we going to do? Present our idea. If they want to say something, listen to them. The story didn't finish. It is interesting. Look, later on, I remember now. And then the prophet asked them for, which is called interesting, technical word, li'an. It means let's ask God's curse, the one who tells the lie. They said, no. What they said, you are lying. This is not true. We are true. All right, let's ask Li'an. It's famous in the practice. So let's ask God together, but come together and say, please Allah. They believe in God. Sure. They are Ahl Kitab. So please Allah, curse on the ones who are lying. They said, okay, bring your people, all of them. I will bring my family, famous. There's the people of Abba, this family. It's very Ali Muhammad. There is that fiqh argument about it, but it's not our subject. Now, I will bring my family. You will bring your group, because the family is back home. So we will get together and pray together to Allah, curse whoever tells lie. And they said, okay, tomorrow. Did they come? Did they come? No. And the prophet got, it is interesting, Imam Ali, his son-in-law, Fatima, Hassan, and Hussein, grandson, 4 of them. He said, this is my family. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. So it is very interesting. We should understand something in this message, Ali Abba. So they didn't come. Did the prophet said anything? No. Okay. I'm ready. No one showed up. All right, in the masjid. And let them go. That is what we have to do.
Just a comment. on how this applies to today
Yeah.
is online, a lot of people fight each other in different groups. And that now spills into everyday life. You find a lot of racial disliking or animosity. You find genders, male and female, disliking. You find ethnicities disliking. And what's interesting is people will, I've noticed even Muslims will talk about how we should follow the example of the Prophet.
Yes.
But then when it comes to who they personally don't like, they throw this example away. And to them, it would be like an insult to show kindness to someone they don't agree with.
No, you shouldn't respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I don't like you, I can't respect you. But the prophetic example is the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be the bigger person.
Yeah. Just the opposite. Yes. That is what unfortunately the reality is. And I feel that we are confusing the area where, can you put the light?
Yes.
Yeah, please. We are confusing the area where which ayah is to be applied, where which ayat, verses of the Quran should be applied. We just generalize it. Now, this ayah is peace conditions. Yeah, peace conditions. So here we are in these people. Are you in war with your neighbor, Christian, Jew, or whatever? Are you in war here? No. But there may be some war somewhere else, but here. So there is a very interesting, there are very, very interesting verses in the Quran, actually. No one is responsible for the burden of another. Now, so somebody is doing there, and your neighbor is not doing it. Why do you extend this feeling against somebody who is harming some Muslims unjustly, or somebody, not only Muslims, doing something wrong, but because he may be his brother? How can you blame his brother? It's another person, let alone that belonging to the same nation. No, so we have to understand that the Quran must be really fully applied according to the conditions that the verses are talking. Now, let's go. Now, what do you think this verse is referring to when it says people who don't know? First of all, who are they? We understand non-combatant, physical combatant people. Now, understood. What do they not know? They don't know. Do you think they don't know physics? The Quran is talking about? Ridiculous, isn't it? Somebody started smiling. Come on. Biology or history or no. They don't know the words of God. So this is obvious in the context of the verse. It's clear. Now, how are we going to teach them the words of God if we don't know ourselves? That is something interesting. First of all, we should know. We should learn. We should educate ourselves. And then we can represent Islam to others as much as we can. Of course, we cannot be the experts on it, but as much as you know, be careful and spend some time and learn it. Learn what you are doing, why are you here? Because Quran is not only to be read for religious purposes. Unfortunately, we read the Quran, generally speaking, for blessings, barakah. It's famous, isn't it? So, and also for special nights. And special nights, we read it. All right, you can read it, but if you read the Quran for only blessing purposes, then you don't know the words of God. How are you going to present it? So we have to know that if we don't know, how are we expecting others to be Muslims and follow Islam, and they don't know what they are doing? Yes, we don't know what we are doing. No, that is why we have to understand that knowing doesn't mean that hearing on media or news, there are some Muslims, the Quran, the Prophet. Oh, there is a prophet who's called Muhammad. Let me investigate him. Oh, they hear it. Okay, I say, did you hear Buddha? Buddhism? Yeah. Did you hear Buddha? Yeah. Did you hear that they have some, for example, one of the books and the famous among these Eastern cultures, that Bhagavad Gita, you must have heard of it. Did you hear it? Did you study? Do you believe in it? But you didn't study. You didn't study. So how can you study? You have to study, investigate, so that we will be comfortable, they will be comfortable about what Islam is. So we have to prepare grounds like Islamic Center, NYU, our group. We are open to anyone to come. Now, anyone to come. One day, there was a sister here, I think. Somebody didn't like her behavior because of the dress, and her position seems to be non-Muslim. And our friend couldn't stand and warned her and said that you have to wear something. I've got really angry, really angry. I couldn't stop myself. You were here?
I remember.
You remember? No, I was very, outburst. So what are you doing? So free, alhamdulillah. But before the COVID period, we used to have a group of people, and there used to come those people from seminaries, Christian seminaries. They used to come and follow and take notes, what we are teaching about Islam, how to take. And they usually, don't misunderstand, our friend is there. They used to sit streets, chairs, on the chairs there, and take notes, and I don't know what they're open. We have to give them opportunity, and we have to have confidence in our belief so that we can present them freely to others. If I don't feel confident, if I imitatively accept Islam and just say this is my culture, how can I teach? Now, if that's another problem, most of the time we see that not Islam is taught and presented, culture of I don't know, let me give from the place where I was born, Turkish culture, Arab culture, Pakistani culture. Not really what we are doing, because just we got the religious information inherited from our family background. That's it. Not special study. So the time is up. How about other verses that encourage to fight or kill the idolaters? So I think we touched upon it. So in the battlefield, if somebody attacks you, even a disbeliever is attacked unjustly, in the train, for example, Would you like to stop if you can? Try to at least call 911. Huh? At least in American standards. Call 911. Somebody is really harming somebody, innocent people. What do? You defend a disbeliever from being attacked. So it means he needs to be, he or she, the one who was attacked, needs to be protected, defends his life, her life. So it is very Islamic way that fighting in order to protect your life, defense yourself is different matter. Small conditions. But in normal civil life conditions, this is the principle, fundamental principle. Inshallah, we will have some more interesting verses. Not exactly the same, of course, in other fields. Inshallah, we will try to get the guidance from the Quran as clearing of the clouds of misunderstanding about Islam, and also what was the, let me see. Here. Ethical lessons from the Quran, the title is. I selected in this section some verses from the Quran, the ethical values of the Islamic culture. Quran, actually. Quran, how? So, inshallah, we will continue in this. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Thank you for coming, and inshallah I'll see you all next Tuesday at 6 o'clock, inshallah, as usual. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.